Extraterrestrial Alliances and the U.S. Air Force Secret Space Program. August 17, 2019. U.S. Air Force Secret Space Program, Shifting Extraterrestrial Alliances and Space Forces, the fourth book in the Michael Salla Secret Space Program series. A brief summary of this book is shown below. Attention: content of the subject without proof of the truth of the claims presented in it, which may contradict the currently accepted science and the general belief spread in humanity. It is also worth remembering that the acronym FO does not necessarily mean alien ship but simply an identified flying object, whatever its origin, human, natural or extraterrestrial. Extraterrestrial Alliances and the U.S. Air Force Secret Space Program. President Eisenhower and the Norse. Eisenhower was against nuclear weapons, especially thermonuclear weapons. 3 days before Eisenhower became president, President Truman approved nuclear weapons technology. President Eisenhower started the Atoms for Peace initiative, which was rejected by the Russians. Finally, President Eisenhower had no choice but to go along with the U.S. Air Force, RAND Corporation, and Deep State and continue developing hydrogen bombs. President Eisenhower was briefed on the continuing presence of extraterrestrial beings in the U.S. Information indicated that there was no need for concern. ETs were not intended to cause disruption at this time or in the future. Eisenhower then had a face-to-face encounter with Nordic Galactic Federation aliens. On February 20, 1954, in the late afternoon, it is said that he was taken to Edwards Air Base. His excuse for the trip was that he had to have emergency dental treatment. This would be a story when asked the next day about where he was. He first flew to Norton Air Force Base, then boarded a C-45 plane and headed to Edwards Air Base. The base has been disabled for 3 days. Charles L. Suggs Sr., former U.S. Navy commander, attended the meeting with President Eisenhower. They met and spoke to the Norse, who had white hair, pale blue eyes and colorless lips. They said they came from another solar system. A former test pilot and U.S. Air Force colonel confirmed that 5 alien ships landed at the base, 2 cigar-shaped and 3 disc-shaped. The aliens spoke English and wanted to create an education program for the people of Earth. Another version of this William Cooper meeting says that large objects were moving towards Earth. At first they were considered asteroids, but the objects began to circulate around the equator, and said they were a different group of extraterrestrials who wanted to establish colonies in Earth. Meanwhile, the Norse contacted the U.S. government to warn them of aliens circling the equator. They wanted to help us on a spiritual path. The condition was to dismantle nuclear weapons, and they refused to share technology that could be used to destroy others. They said we were on a path of self-destruction. We would have to stop polluting the Earth and live in harmony with each other. President Eisenhower was ready to spread the truth about extraterrestrials at this time, as well as his personal concerns about nuclear weapons. This caused a split in the Eisenhower administration. Eisenhower was stopped by the USAF, the national security establishment of the deep state. The U.S. did not want to get rid of nuclear weapons because it thought that with all its alien activity it needed them to defend the Earth. The Norse understood this, but they did not want the Earth to make the same mistakes as before in our solar system. The planet that once occupied the asteroid belt Maldek/Lucifer/Tiamat was destroyed, and the destruction of this planet also caused the annihilation of civilizations living on Mars. Finally, an agreement was reached with the German/Draconian Alliance, which did not require President Eisenhower to abandon thermonuclear weapons. They also agreed to share technology with the U.S. Stargate SG-1. The Stargate SG-1 series received support from the U.S. Air Force during its 10 years on TV. The credits acknowledged cooperation with the United States Air Force, the U.S. Space Command and the Department of Defense. SG-1 also had access to Cheyenne Mountain Complex's underground facilities. 2 Air Force Chiefs of Staff appeared in the series, General Michael E. Ryan and General John P. Jumper. Richard Dean Anderson, the series producer, has received special recognition for the positive representation of the Air Force and the Air Force Association. Whistleblowers claimed that SG-1 was part of the smooth spread of a broad portal system across the galaxy. Corey Goode explains that there are natural portal systems and portal systems of the present era, as well as ancient portal systems built on Earth and left behind by ancient civilizations. In the TV series, a similar scenario happens when the SG-1 crew travels through portals, known as stellar portals, built by an ancient race of beings thousands of years ago. The portals are similar to the stargates shown in the series. Corey Goode also stated that portals have numeric addresses, as they have on the TV show. Earth's ends at 606 and Mars ends at 605. Corey Good claims that the Sun is a natural portal and spacecraft use it to enter and exit our solar system. Our natural Sun has a magnetic filament attached to all planets in our solar system. The galaxy is a giant twisting field. He explains that originally the wormhole system was developed by the Germans based in Antarctica, with the help of reptilian aliens. These two groups also established bases on the Moon and Mars. Emery Smith said there are several dozen traversable wormholes. Natural and artificial portals exist and look like three sides of a vertical doorframe. Iraq is said to have portal technologies and cylindrical seals that explain how to use portal technology. Henry Deacon Aka Arthur Newman said portals were discovered in Iraq. The invasion of Iraq was to find ancient portal technologies. It had nothing to do with weapons of mass destruction or any other fabricated reason. Space Force. The Space Force opened the door for President Trump to found a new branch of the U.S. military. Initially, the USAF will join the Space Command and eventually the U.S. Navy. The U.S. Navy worked closely with the Nordic aliens and the USAF worked with the Antarctic Germans and the reptilians. They also worked with Greys, tall whites and other extraterrestrials. The USAF believed that this was the most technologically advanced group, but found that it had been fooled by the Antarctic Germans and the reptilians, and that they only received redundant technology. Meanwhile, the U.S. Navy made significant progress in its programs and was patrolling the entire solar system. They were aided by the Norse with their most advanced space program. Once the USAF discovered this, she chose to work with human-looking extraterrestrials who were willing to assist in their development with space technology. The Norse have stepped up in the past to help the worlds break free from corrupt influences such as those of the German Antarctic reptilians and Draconians. The USAF is now working closely with President Trump to eliminate the deep state through the creation of the Space Force. Hawaii, ballistic missile threat. On January 13, 2018 at 8:07 a.m. a ballistic missile threat was announced heading towards Hawaii. The message was sent to the population and she was advised to seek immediate shelter as this was not training. People fled to save their lives. 38 minutes later, they were told it was a false alarm. Someone had apparently pressed the wrong button. The Hawaii Emergency Management Agency reported that training was scheduled for the next day and that someone mistook the training for a real emergency. In fact, a missile had been launched against Hawaii and was detected in the Pacific Ocean off the coast of Hawaii. The missile was intercepted and destroyed by a stealth nuclear submarine. Who could have shot down the missile? Is the U.S. Air Force-run secret space program capable of using radiation satellites and microwave technology, using a space weapon-directed energy weapon? The Maui space surveillance site could have tracked and helped destroy the ballistic missile. The U.S. Air Force could also have received help from its new allies, the Nordics. UFOs were seen and photographed while the incident was taking place. The U.S. Navy did not have the ability to shoot down the missile, as in recent tests they failed in a similar scenario. President Trump had requested documentation that would free the United States from the deep state's iron grip. This documentation was performed in Hawaii. The deep state would not hand over the information to President Trump. It was known that during an emergency there was a massive transfer of data to the Pentagon. Was this a fake flag attack to get the necessary information transferred to the White Hat Alliance? The archives incriminated the deep state and the CIA. Or was this a deep state attempt to destroy information? This could also have been a deep state pretext for causing a third world war, blaming North Korea for the incident. In summary, the above article addresses just some of the book's intriguing revelations. It is an excellent and fascinating read and has many new disclosures not mentioned in this article, including new information on extraterrestrials, meteorological warfare, Project RAND, NASA, Q, Roswell and other crashed UFO recovery. Many questions are answered in this book, so anyone who wants more information about UFOs and the history of secret space programs is a must-read.